the scene, Tracy made it clear that she wasn't just writing books. She was building worlds. Her gift for urban storytelling quickly solidified her place in the genre, but she didn't stop there. With For the Love of Go-Go, she showed her flair for romance with Keeping Busy, a top 100 Amazon African American romance title. She showed longevity, range, and the kind of discipline a lot of people talk about, but few actually have. And now, with more than 35 books to her name, yes, 35, goddamn, Tracy Gray continues to deliver the emotional depth, relatable struggle, and the black love joy that readers show up for again and again. So tonight we're going deep into the mind, mission, and magic of the woman behind the pen.
Yes, I'm ready. Hey, y'all. I'm sorry, I'm a character. I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay. So let's start this off. What gave you that inkling, like that this is who I am, that made you decide to become a writer professionally?
I just always loved reading. I always loved reading as a child, and I just loved being read to. And I'll never forget this, when I was in fifth grade, I read a book. My teacher started us off as a class reading this book. And this book was written by a teacher who every week, as part of the assignment, her class added a sentence to that story. And
Mm.
even as a 10-year-old, like that was so intriguing to me. Like, oh my gosh, like kids wrote a story. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, if other kids are writing a story, I could probably write a story. And I've been writing stories ever since.
So you said storytelling has been with you since childhood. What's the difference to you between being a storyteller and being a writer?
I think that writers can write like almost anything. I mean, like a writer can write, a nonfiction story or a pamphlet or, autobiography or even a biography about somebody else. And I think being a storyteller is being able to weave and being able to sprinkle in because I write fiction, I'm going to say being able to sprinkle in creativity, taking liberties with, maybe the boundaries of real life, or taking liberties with what you envision in your mind. There aren't a lot of all black towns, but I'm gonna write a black town. If I want them to go to a resort, it's gonna be a black owned resort. They're not gonna see anybody on the beach that's not a person of color, that doesn't look like them. There might not be a lot of people going to. I have a story set, in Oregon. There might not be towns of just black people, but there's a black town in my book. So I think that storytelling is being able to just weave your creativity and bring it parallel to reality. Because even though there probably aren't, I used to live in Oregon, so I could go weeks without seeing somebody black that didn't live in my house, and that's real. But so even though there's reality there's like a parallel creativity that takes it outside of reality and makes it fiction, and makes it more relatable, and makes it a story that people who look like me could more so enjoy.
Okay, so writing since 9, how has your relationship with creativity changed as you've grown and healed and evolved?
I think that, of course, as I grow, I have more experiences I'm able to pull on. Of course, there are things that I think every writer is still going to be making up in their mind, or you have to adjust reality to fit what you want your story to be. But I do have so many more experiences that I can pull from as an adult, so much more depth of emotion, so much more understanding of how not just seeing somebody have a situation be like, oh, if that was me, I would have did this, but actually be like, when that was me, and if I had it to do over again, maybe I wouldn't do it the same way I did it. So I think it just gives you more life experience to pull from, and I personally think that makes your writing richer.
Mm. So, what does black love require beyond simply having two black characters? what is the emotional or cultural foundation you believe has to be present?
I always base, okay, so I'm married. I've been married for 29 years. And so my husband and I have a relationship that's really, really, really steeped in friendship. So I like when I'm writing Black love, I really like them to get past the physical attraction and get past all the trauma bonding and all of that and really kind of get to know each other. I really like my characters. And I hope that readers, when they read my books, say, you know, I like their relationship, not just the physical, but I like how he treated her. I like how she was always like, hey, we got to talk about this. And so I like my characters to be very, I like them to have a relationship steeped in friendship because that's basically how I grew up. I am a Generation Xer. And so we're a different generation than I think the young people who are probably just starting out and dating now. Mm-hmm. And back then, and I'm from the South Side, so I grew up on the block. We played with boys on the block. It wasn't
football with them.
Yeah, we played touch football on the street all the time. We, played catch a girl, kiss a girl, hide and go seek. Everything we did with the boys. It was no girls. I mean, the only thing we did that wasn't with the boys was jump double dutch. But if we weren't jumping double dutch, if we were playing something else, the boys were with us. So I grew up having those relationships with guys that were platonic and that were like, this is like another brother to me. So I always like my characters to have a level of that, a level of, I like my guys to always like women, not just to date, but just to really like who women are. I feel like sometimes that's not there. So I just like them to like women and to have a healthy respect for the oppositeness of our essences.
Yeah.
I mean, like the yin to the yang, the yin to the yang, whatever. So I like them to have that type of balance. Like he's a blue and she's a pink. Like I like that. But again, I'm a Gen X, so gender roles, that means something to me. Like I can see that very clearly. And I'm not saying that they can't ever be blurred, but let's just say in my house, I'm not taking out the garbage. I'm not mowing them. So,
I tell people all the time, I'm hard as hell. I was born and raised Wild Hundreds, Southern Nickel. That's where I'm born and raised. But I like to be pampered like a princess, and I am going to be a passenger princess. I'm not taking out the car. I'm not doing none of that. So it's a fine line between the roles because a lot of times Black women have to be very strong and independent on their own because they haven't found that one yet. But when you find that one, why the hell am I doing this?
Yes.
Why am I doing anything?
The opposite energy. We shouldn't be fighting over the bonnet. Like,
for real.
I'm sorry. We shouldn't be fighting over the bonnet.
So, how has contemporary and urban romance become a staple genre for you? Like, what keeps you returning to it?
I just love, and I have such a healthy respect for how, I don't want to like sound trendy or whatever, but I just have a healthy respect of what a partnership between a man and a woman can be when they have that friendship and they have that mutual respect and they can laugh at each other and love with each other and they can have disagreements and talk about it and come back. I just have such a healthy respect for that. I didn't grow up with that. I grew up in a single parent home. So when I married my husband, I was lucky because he came from a 2-parent home. So he knew what that looked like. So he had to kind of like teach me how marriage does, and I couldn't always just be thinking to myself like, oh, I could do that by myself because my mama did it by herself. He was like, no, that's not what we do. When we have a fight, you go in your room and be mad all you want to be, but when you get your act together, you come back and we talk about this.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love to write that in books, and perhaps people haven't seen that, and then they get to see it. And I love to create hope. for single women and for women who have been in, bad or unfortunate relationships, to know like, hey, love is out there, and love is healing, and love is kind, and love is good, and love is beneficial. It doesn't always just hurt and kill and take and beat you down. So I love the hope that writing those books can give.
See, I came from a 2-parent home. I was just hard headed. I was just in them streets. That's all. I was just hard headed, being bad. Even in the military, I was just, hard headed. But I truly, truly appreciate people writing about love and all that, because I saw how my father treated my mother, and he worshipped the ground. She was spoiled. She was spoiled. My mother didn't even know how to drive because she never had to drive a car until my father passed away. She ain't do none of that. She ain't touched nothing. She just took care of us in the house. That's it. So yeah, I appreciate that. So do you think Black romance naturally taps into situations and circumstances and even struggles that are deeply relatable to Black readers because of our lived experience?
I think so. Mm, I do think so, but I also think that so many Black authors of Black romance create these worlds where there's not a lot of people who don't look like us. And I think I'm just thinking specifically of Keisha Nee, because I know, and she'll say it, like, hey, my worlds are all Black. Like,
Yeah.
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 The bellhop at the hotel is Black. The person who comes to take your, order at the restaurant is Black. Like, I know for a fact, like, and I feel like I kind of in the same way, like, the worlds become so Black, and there's really no one out in the world that doesn't look like you. So I do think that because of that they do bring our culture in, and I never write thinking like, are the people who read my book going to get this reference? Are the people who read this book going to understand what I'm trying to portray here? I never think that, because I presume that the people that are reading my books either consider themselves allies and understand, or won't question, or they're Black and they have either, experienced this or know somebody who experienced it. So I never write with thinking like I have to, modify the culture. Nope, the culture is what the culture is, and I expect that my readers know the culture because I expect that they're part of the culture.
Facts. So I'm finna ask you a question that's on some bullshit. Before I even ask the question, it's some bullshit, but it was just such a trending topic today. I just want to hear what you have to say.
Okay.
So there was an author on Threads today that's claiming Black readers don't support Black authors. What are your thoughts on a traditionally published author generalizing Black readers like that when Black readers show up hard for indie authors? Yeah, I said it's bullshit.
That's not my ministry. I've never felt that way. Even when, now I'm on BLP, so I have the benefit of having a network of pen sisters who share and promote and, show my books and all that stuff, which I know has helped to get me in places I wasn't when I was just an indie. But even when I was an indie, I did what I had to do as an indie. Like, are you doing your ads? Are you doing your promo? Are you going to events? I was at events. I was at the Atlanta Kickback with 2 books and a table with candy and all kind of other, sassafras on it, trying to make it look like something was really happening there. Yeah. Are you doing your due diligence? Like, you can't open up a store and never promote it, never have a soft or a grand opening and expect people to just wander in there. Like, are you doing your part? It takes 2 to tango. And what I will say is, in a world of Kindle Unlimited, subscription things where you pay once a month and you get all these, you get this access. Apple Music. Like, everybody is on that. When readers are getting because it used to be the thing where it would be like, well, traditional books are edited well and indie books are not edited well and indie books are packaged well and blah, blah, blah. Well, indie heard that. They heard the chatter and they stepped their game up, and now indie books are just as good, if not, better, and just as popular, if not more popular. So you're able to download 20 indie books on Kindle Unlimited, and then here's you wanting me to pay $12.99 for an untested product. Like, am I willing to spend my $12.99 to try you out? I mean, you seem nice, but I don't want to, do I want to spend my $12.99 and possibly be disappointed? So traditional authors have to really look at the whole picture and not try to put it all on the readers' backs, because it's not just the readers. I mean, it's not just the readers. There's something else on there, and you need to unpack it, because as you said, the readers show up for indies. They show up for indies.
I just think it's very systematic. I hate to say it, but a lot of Black authors, if they don't sell well on the traditional side, the only option they have is to blame the readers, because they don't want to look within themselves to see if it maybe is the book you're writing. Maybe it is the company you with. Maybe it's just you as a person, It's a lot of systematic racism, a lot of systematic brainwashing on the part of when you're with a big three or a big five or whatever, that you put yourself here on your pedestal, but the company itself have you down here. So you were never on a pedestal. So that's just my opinion on that. I'm just saying.
I think it's unfair to blame the readers. I think that's so unfair when it again, you cannot open a business, never promote, never get out in the community, never do your due diligence, and then be mad that nobody showed up on opening day. You can't. I mean, even politicians know to come to the Black church and kiss the babies. I mean, you gotta get out of your, as you said, if you feel like you're on a pedestal and feel like you don't have to do the footwork, you don't have to do the groundwork and lay the foundation, then you're fooling yourself, because there is no author there. Beyonce goes on tours. I mean, it's like there is no person, no creative that can sit in their cubby hole and just do their creative thing and never get out and promote it and never get out there and interact with who they want to be their audience. That's short-sighted.
It is. It's, even though this shit happen like every 5 to 6 business days, some author nobody heard about say the same goddamn thing, and I'll just be like, what the hell? But it is what it is. So, you have more than 35 books. What does it take to maintain that level of momentum and consistency?
I think being around people who are hungry. When I was indie and I was just, in my little cubby hole writing by myself, it was very easy to slack off, to take a break, to not write for a month. But the second I got with BLP, I was like, ooh, Lord, you knew what you was doing, because these ladies are hungry. And you're trying to get on the calendar to get you a release date. You have to fight, because everybody wants a day on the calendar. Everybody wants their book to be dropping. So that is one thing. And I will say this about me, because that might not be the thing for everybody. I, sadly enough, am more externally motivated most of the time. Like if you give me a deadline or give me like something, a goal I have to hit, I'm more likely to hit it than to be like, Tracy, girl, you need to do. Myself is like, girl, it's okay. You tried, boo. Don't be so hard on yourself. Let's go get a massage. But when I'm around people who are just striving, like you get FOMO. It's like, what's going on that they're so hungry and they're hitting the numbers on the Amazon charts. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And then, oh no, they messed around and let me see some TikTok from Kev on Stage, where he talked about how you can control the output, but you can't control the outcome. I was like, oh no, they should have never let me hear that because it's easy to be like, oh, this book didn't do that good. And then be in your bag and not be writing and be telling yourself people don't appreciate you and all this kind of stuff. But you cannot control the output. I mean, the outcome. All you can do is put the books out there and then they're going to do what they're going to do. And it's like, once I heard that, I was like, that's right. I could release as many books as I want to release. That's the one thing I can control. I can't control readers pick it up. So I control what I can control, and I let them control what they can control, and that keeps me going, knowing that that's something I can control.
Yeah, I like that. So, how much of you ends up in the characters you write? Are there traits you always see slipping in?
Oh, glory. Let me think. I feel like I will say this, like I have never written my husband. I have never written my husband. But there are characteristics of his that I really, really like, as far as just in a man or even a person you want to be your friend, just how he is. I always slip some of him in there. My mom always tells me like, if the character loves shopping, she'll be like, "Oh yeah, that was you. They like to shop." But that was before because I made her stop reading my books. I'm like, lady, I don't need that pressure. It's too spicy. I said, Mom, my books are not for you. Just support me and don't read the book. Yeah. But I think so. I think I'm very peppy and I'm mostly upbeat and up tempo. I do feel like that slips into a lot of my lady characters. Like they're just very upbeat. They're just I love to laugh. I love to crack jokes. So they probably like to laugh and crack jokes. So I would say probably that I have a little bit of a hot temper. And I was just telling my daughter, I said, I've been trying to write my characters elegant. I said, but why do they always be getting in a fist fight? I don't know. These people are elegant, but they be getting fist fights. They don't take that stuff. And I do feel like that's the South Side. I feel like the South Side is like, wait, what? Who are you talking to?
Now, all y'all in these comments, you heard what she said. So when y'all be talking about Storm, chill. She just said it. That's that Southside mentality for real. I asked one question and then it's on. That is it.
What can I do? The Southside is in me. I don't know. The Southside's apparently in them too.
So when you're out at like book events, you bring your daughter. How important is it to have family to stand right next to you and see you as you're out here with the readers and talking to the readers and all that stuff?
I love having my daughter with me. She is so supportive. I used to bring my husband, and I promise, if anybody knows my husband, I call my husband Officer Friendly. He was like Mr. his high school. He was the homecoming king. But when he gets to the book events, he gets shy. And I'm like, what? Why are you trying to be shy? Like, go talk to those people. So when I started bringing my daughter, who is reserved, she opens up and just chats the people up. And we work so well together. I don't know if it's the mother-daughter thing, the lady thing. I don't know if it's just her knowing me so well, but I will say she was. We have 2 children, but she was our only for. We get back. She was our only for 15 years. Then we.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but
I'm gonna have to stop talking to y'all because when y'all get to saying that, I'll be scared. You on mute?
She was my only, and I used to call her my left hand because I'm a right-handed person. I will always say, this is my left hand because I'm a right-handed person, and my left hand is absolutely no good. I can't really do much with my left hand. So she always said, from a kid, I'll be like, go in mommy's purse and get this. Do this for mommy. Be my left hand. So I think she's so used to doing that she can just work with me and she fills in all the gaps. I would not want anybody but her. Sometimes she's like, do you want my daddy to go? Absolutely not. He can stay home right where he's at. I need you to go get your mind right. I got us little matching t-shirts and everything.
So In the Tracy Gray writing universe, what does a character absolutely have to bring to the table? Like, what makes a character worth writing?
Okay, so they have to know their own story. Different authors write different ways. There are some authors who sit down and create the whole entire story. That is not my process. And I used to think I was weird, but a lot of authors say this. The characters come to me. They come to me in my mind. My daughter tells me that. I'm like, oh girl, off a ghost. Like they be sitting in a waiting room just waiting for their time to come up and tell me their story. But they tell me, they'll, say, hey, my name is such and such. This is what's going on. This is my story. They kind of have to, they can have a skeleton of their story, but it has to be a beginning, middle, and the end, and I'll put the meat on the bones. Mm-hmm. But they have to at least know their story. They have to not be, for me, because I don't write dark romance, and I know some people do, they have to not be unredeemable. Like if you're out there, just hoeing, and like my male character, you're just hoeing, and you just not gonna get right ever. Like you're gonna be telling her you love her, but you just got a hoe. You're not the character for me. I don't deal in unredeemable characters. I don't deal in manipulative women. Mm-hmm. Like I couldn't see a female character who was just completely manipulative. Mm-hmm. But because I do write romance, so that kind of, again, unless you're writing dark romance, that kind of makes it hard for you to like the person. But they have to know their own story, and they cannot be unredeemable. Other than that, really, you can be a criminal. You can, like to get it in. I mean, you just have to stop when you get with this person. But I really don't have too many. I mean, of course, but some things that just go without saying. I mean, you couldn't be a cannibal or nothing like that. I read a story where the people were cannibals. I read a book and I was just like, wow. But yeah, so you just can't be unredeemable, and you kind of have to know where your story's going.
Okay, so let's talk about Solid Brick.
Yes.
That cover? God damn! That man fine. Honestly.
Very sexy.
Girl, you in them covers, what?
Oh, I have to say, like, I go very hard for covers, and I find that it pays off. When I was an indie, I had a girl, she was doing my covers. She was charging me $300 a pop. Wasn't nobody else paying that. I was paying that, but I feel like people stop at my tables when I'm at events, and they're like, girl, these covers drew me over here. So I always tell new authors when they're like, I'm trying to write a book, I'm like, spend your money on covers and promo. I feel like covers are so very important. So thank you. I do get people that always stop by and tell me covers are very important to me. I like something that's catchy, and if it catches
don't covers everything. Let's talk about it. So Ryan's desire for motherhood is like a very powerful and deeply like human thing. What inspired her journey, and what emotional truth were you trying to capture through her diagnosis and determination?
It just always starts so weird when they come to me and tell me something, because sometimes they come to me and they tell me, they just give me such a small sprinkle that I have to do the research. And she told me, she's like, I need somebody to go half with me on a baby. And I'm like, well, that's an odd thing to say. What's going on there? Like, well, do you already have somebody in mind? So I'm like fleshing this thing out in my mind. And, when she was telling us, I just thought, oh, how sad, how unfortunate to have a desire that is a desire so deep in your heart, and to have somebody tell you, I don't know if you're going to ever make it to that desire's finish line. I am the type of person, and I try to raise my kids to be this way too, that if you haven't got the desired outcome, your work is not done. You got to go back to the drawing board. You got to figure out where you could go right instead of left. what can you do? What can you do? So that's just all I kept thinking, like, what can she do? What can she do? And so slowly the story started building itself. I had to do the research. I'm like, what is the infertility issue that a woman would face that is irreversible, that she can't do any, that even IVF is really, might not even be an option. And so once I did the research, I'm like, oh wow, this is
Yeah.
sad, and this is like serious. So that was the jumping off point. And Bricks had been telling me all along that he was getting a story, but I had no idea what his story would be. So when he came up for the lead in this, I was like, oh, that's gonna be cute because their siblings are married. But that's gonna be weird because the family's gonna be like, hey, if y'all fall apart, y'all gonna mess up Thanksgiving and Christmas for all of us.
Girl. Fucking girl, I said, look, Braxton, he is navigating heartbreak, career pressure, and rebuilding. What made you pair these two emotional states? His breakup with her biological urgency.
It was so odd because when he kept telling me he was getting a book, I kept saying, no, you was with that girl and y'all been a couple for a long time because Brixton and Ryan were actually introduced in a book called Crossed Up. And in Crossed Up, Brixton was in a very stable, good relationship. So when he started like coming to me, I was like, no, I was like, well then I'm gonna have to, you and that girl, we're gonna have to break up. And so as the foundation started coming together, I was like, well, dang, that is messed up. And I knew that he was gonna be in a position where he wouldn't be expecting to have this whirlwind romance with her, but where he would be so emotionally removed that he would be like, yeah, I could do this for you. It's just a favor, and we'll just, partner up. You cool, I'm cool. We'll just partner up and have this baby and just co-parent it. And Ryan was just so desperate, that she was like, basically, whatever you put out there, if unless it's egregious, I'm gonna agree to it. So
Yeah.
she came in just needing him so badly, and he came in like, I can do this. This is how I'm gonna get to fatherhood without having to put my heart back on the line. So yeah, they were a good parent.
So the story centers on timing, connection, and vulnerability. How did you balance the platonic agreement with the simmering undercurrent of attraction? Because I remember you saying earlier that you like them to be friends first.
And they were kind of friends, as friendly as a brother and sister in law would be. And Ryan had a unique situation being her brother's personal assistant. So she was very enmeshed in the basketball world because her brother is a professional basketball player, as is Brixton. So she was very enmeshed in that world and very enmeshed in the team. And so she was always around. So he was gonna be around her. So they were able to have a friendship. I just felt like because of how her family was and how he had the opposite situation with the family. She had a very supportive, loving family, and he kind of felt like his family was so broken that he really envied what she had. And so I feel like there was probably a part of him that wanted to touch that, wanted to have that in the future, wanted to make sure that his child would have that. So I think they were kind of like inevitable almost. I think they were really kind of inevitable, especially once the physical attraction started to hit. It was like, oh wow.
Him knocking the bed frame out of her ass. No, Tracy be sitting here looking innocent, but the way she be writing her love scenes.
Oh, and then I tell people like sex scenes are so difficult, and people are always like, "Don't believe that." I don't.
That
believe
shit didn't seem like it. like, he knocking the donkey coins out her ass. What the hell?
You know,
Damn.
you gotta get the readers what they want. You gotta get them what they want.
What? So, what do you hope readers take away from Ryan and Braxton's roller coaster towards parenthood and love?
I hope that they just take away the hope. It's always for me the hope that your person's out there. You just haven't ran into him yet, or he may be somebody you already know that you have to see in a different light. That even when you get bad news, it doesn't have to be the end of the story. You can keep fighting to get your perceived end, even if I like the fact that Ryan was like, hey, regardless of if we do this, I'm gonna freeze these eggs. And, like, always having I'm a person that never has a plan A without a B, C, and D. So I like my characters to have backup plans, and I like them to be willing to work the backup plan and work the process. So I just hope that people take, fight for what you want. Fight for what you want. Believe for what you want. If you want love, you're sitting at home. I know there's a lot of women out there like, girl, I don't even want no relationship. These men, I just want to be by myself. And if you just want to be by yourself, be by yourself. I'm married, so of course I feel like people in good marriages are normally proponents for marriage. I don't try to shove it down people's throat. But if you want love, I definitely feel like you should have love, and don't give up hope on love. Don't give up hope that your situation can't turn around at any moment.
Facts. So, are there real world issues, health, gender expectations, emotional labor, Black family planning that shape this story?
Probably, yeah. I would say definitely. I would say, yeah. Family planning. I know other cultures, they try to put it on us. I mean, I'm on social media. I see, when they want to take their little digs and they try to act like we don't know who our fathers are, and our mothers don't, our men don't stick around, don't marry our mothers. Our mothers go through men and bring Uncle Johnny and Uncle John and everybody else around the kids. And like in the Tracy Gray universe, we don't do that foolishness because I didn't grow up with that. So this is not just me making up some fictional thing. This is like, I write a lot of stuff about what I see. I see Black people with degrees. I see Black professionals. I see Black people who, go hard and go in the paint for their kids. I see Black people that correct their kids. I see Black people who don't let their kids get away with a lot of stuff. And I know it's falling out of favor to say this, but in my generation, I still see parents who tell their kids you gotta be twice as good to be equal. Mm. So I see these things and I write what I see, because whether I used to tell my daughter when she was growing up, like, some people never see anything except the four corners of their block.
Man.
And they think that's all that there is to the world. But the more you expand your horizons and the more you see there is to the world, then you can see more people who look like you. You can see more people who do what you do. There is not a monolithic Black experience. If some Black kids are eating steak and shrimp every night, some Black kids are eating, Vienna sausages, and then there's people in the middle. It takes all kind to make the world go around. So I like to include a lot of realism for the culture. And I feel like I want to show what I see. I want to show my Black lens, my Black view. And I'm married. I'm in love every single day. I know it exists. People tell me and my husband, like, y'all are crazy. I love that y'all are friends. Like, me and my husband laugh, we joke. We will be in a grocery store and I'll be like, well, it's up to your girlfriend to let you get the chips. We make jokes like that all the time. And people are like, y'all make jokes like that? Like, this man ain't got no girlfriend. Yeah, it's one thing when he don't have one, you can make jokes. When you know he got one, you probably don't want to make jokes. Yeah. But, so I like to show culture through my lens. There might be some people who are like, I don't believe that married people are really happy. They just stick it together for whatever reason. That's not true. Married people are happy. Married people can be happy. Relationships can be healthy. Relationships can be good. And that's the cultural lens that I like to show it through. I like to show the possibilities, because it turns out everything is happening. Whatever you think ain't happening is happening. If you think Black people ain't staying together, They stand together. If you think black people ain't getting married, go down to the courthouse. They get married.
It's a long ass line down at the damn Daily Center. You know what? My husband would go in the grocery store and I'll pick up something. He'd be like, "Oh, she's stealing." Like, but you know, it's fun to have somebody that you can laugh with. At the same time, want to strangle their neck, but at the same time, you know, you have a good time. You know what I'm saying? So, as a tradition, as an indie, what do I call? Is it indie traditional? Traditional?
I'm kind of a little bit of a hybrid, but I wouldn't. But B Love does not consider herself traditional. She considers herself an independent publisher.
Okay.
So,
As an author with an independent publisher, what intentional moves do you make to stand out in the romance space, or does standing out even fucking matter in a world where your audience finds you?
I try to stand out by staying true to my lane. Like Tracy Gray readers pick me up for a specific reason. I've gotten a lot of comments where people are like, "Your book is a palate cleanser," and I'm fine with that. Like, I don't take that as a insult at all. Sometimes you need a palate cleanser. Sometimes I need a palate cleanser. If I've been reading a lot of, if I've been reading a lot of urban, personally, I love paranormal. I wish I could write paranormal.
You are speaking my language.
Girl, I love it. Girl, just find your fated mate and be happy because I love
speaking my language.
So I love paranormal romance. I don't have that story in me yet, but if I've been reading a lot of paranormal, sometimes I do want to bring it back to center. I like a little palate cleanser, so that doesn't bother me that people say that. If you're, I stay in my lane. My lane is sweet romance, soft romance, romance that's gonna have a happily ever after. I mean, when I say sweet, I was gonna say sweet, but
girl,
they get some, not clean, not sweet and clean.
I was like, flag on the plate. Time out.
It's like she lied, y'all. She lied. Do not believe it. Don't pick up her book thinking you about to read sweet and clean. No, not sweet and clean. Sweet spicy. It's spicy. It be they be doing stuff in it. They be spicy.
They be knocking the Sonic coins out, bitches. You know what I'm saying?
But they be talking so sweet to each other. Otherwise, it be like, "Did you want breakfast?" "Yes, I want breakfast. Let's go get breakfast." No. but I do like to write a healthy, communicative black love with a happily ever after and a soft romance. I don't like a lot of tug of war. My men aren't hard. You don't have to love them out of a pit. You don't have to love them. You don't have to love them for their potential. My girls are not like fighting to love him and he's fighting to not be loved. We don't do that over here. We do a soft romance. He won't love, she won't love. They just got to figure out how they're going to get there. That's the thing.
So how does it feel like seeing so many black book events now when years ago we barely had options?
I love it so much. I'm one of those rare authors that loves book events. I was just watching Jessica Watson posting to in her Facebook group that so many authors are introverts and so many authors are shy that it's hard for her to find a keynote speaker sometimes because she'll have a lot of people on her list, but the people are like, "I don't like public speaking." I'm not that person. I work in education, so I'm talking all day long to the kids, to the parents, to the other teachers. I'm talking all day long. So if you stop at my table, you very well might get chatted up. And I'm also this author that if you're like, "Oh, girl, I read such and such about Mel Dow," and if I read it too, I'm like, "Girl, I read that too," and then we're gonna be talking about that. So I love book events. I'm so glad to see so many of them coming. I think that I feel like readers are the push behind that, and I love that. I love that readers are starting to look at it as kind of like I feel like they're looking at it as destinations Like a book event is like in a place they want to visit or they want to go, so they're going to get like their twofer. They're going to go see that town, and they're going to do their event, and they're going to have a good time with their friends or their book club. And I just love that for them so much. And I just, as a reader, I love it, and as an author, I love it. I'm like, yes, come see us, girl. We doing this for y'all. Come see us, come talk to us, let us know, so I love it. I'm so appreciative of all the people who are, it has to be a huge undertaking. I know you guys do it. It has to be, I'm so thankful for all the people that take it on and present it. I've been to 3 of you all's events, and each one, I feel like they just keep getting better and better and better, and I'm there, and it's always such a vibe.
You were there at the very first Boozy Book Tour.
I had such a good time there. I had such a good time there. So many authors talked to so many, and the readers came to buy. It's like when the readers come to the Boozy Book Tour, they come to buy, and I love that. They come to talk to you. In Tulsa, I had so many people come up to tell me how much they enjoyed my book, The Brooklyn Way. That was so cool. Like, I love that. Okay, so we're not going to name names, but I went to an event one time, and they had a DJ, and the music was so loud. A reader came over to me. She said, I asked the lady running this, would they turned down the music? And she told me no. She said, and I just couldn't believe that. She said, because I came here to talk to the authors. She said, we got to yell at each other. She said, this is not enjoyable for me. And I had never thought of it that way, but after she said, I said, yeah, you can't talk to readers when the music is, up so loud. But one thing I love about Boozy Books is that it gives such an intimate, the music is there, but it's not taking over. You still hear the hum of the conversation, and people are still able to talk and take pictures and shop and meet. And it's just a vibe. You and Shannon do a great job creating a vibe.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so very much. We appreciate it. So what goals or milestones have you set for yourself in the upcoming year?
So for 2024 was just a rough year for me. It just was a rough year. So 2025, I had started off 2025, and I said, Lord, I just want this to be a year of discipline. I said, let this be a year of discipline for me. And I have a goal to release 7 books. It was a slow start. I did not get my first book out till May. And I was like, I don't know. So I didn't get my first book out till May. But God is good. And my 7th book is coming out December the 8th. So that will be the 7th book for it. And so that will be 25 and 25. Next year, I'm shooting for 8. So next year, I'm shooting to release 8 books. As I said, I work in education, so I do get breaks sprinkled throughout the year. And one thing I will say about Be Love that I really appreciate her, she always says, if you're not a full-time author and you want to be a full-time author, when you're off work, treat it like your work day. If you work 8 to 3, write from 8 to 3. Don't just, be out shopping or doing, playing on the computer. Actually see if you have the discipline to work your authorship like a job. So when I'm off work, I try to work it like my job. I schedule in a little lunch break. I schedule in a little 15-minute, coffee break, my prep time. But other than that, I'm writing. And that has been such a helpful gem. That really helped me to maximize my summer vacation this year. And I feel like it'll help me maximize my Christmas break. So that was a gem. That was a gem. And that you really need to maximize your writing time.
So what does burnout look like for an author, especially one like yourself that likes to write the right 7 to 8 books a year? What does that look like to you?
Burnout is like when you sit at the computer and you can't get your brain to focus. You're on day 15 and you're like, I'm going to write tomorrow. And then you're not writing tomorrow. And I'm going to write tomorrow and you're not writing tomorrow. And it's not even, I know a lot of creatives and authors talk about what do you call it? Because I don't even get that. But it's the thing where you can't, where you're like blank and you can't, like writer's block. That's what it's called. So a lot of creators talk about, I have writer's block, writer's block. Burnout is not even necessarily writer's block because I believe that the power of words is very serious. So I would never say I have writer's block because I just want to speak that over myself. But you can be burnt out even when you have ideas. Like you could just crash in the middle of a manuscript where you just can't. For me, it's more so like I can't focus. I can't get my brain to focus. I find myself writing maybe a paragraph a day. I can't be motivated. I'm going a week without writing because writing is like spinach to Popeye. I don't know if people know who Popeye is. Writing is just like my life force. It's like I need it to be okay. Like it's like water. It's like I have to have it. Like even if I, am just getting on for an hour, I have to write. So if I'm not writing, I already know, something is going on. So burnout for me would definitely be like not going days and days and days and not writing and not feeling like I need to. Just be like, because I told y'all, I'm soft on myself at times. I would be like, girl, it's okay. We're going to write tomorrow. We don't write tomorrow. And I'm like, girl, we just need a massage.
So, what advice would you give to new authors that are just coming in and they are kind of just iffy about the whole landscape of writing because, people go off of first impressions and not dive in deep and do their own research. So, what advice would you give them?
I would probably say, don't stay off social media. Like that would be my first thing. Like don't, or if you just are on there, don't read into it. It's kind of like when somebody says, I don't like that girl and you don't know her and you're like, well, let me just wait till I know her myself to form an opinion. I would say, don't form an opinion, write. Sequester yourself and write because it's a lot of outside voices that are trying to tell you stuff and write what you want to write. Write what's on your heart. You don't try to write what you think you should write or what you think is selling or what you think people want to read. You will be a happier author if you write what you want to write, especially if you're first starting out. Maybe once you get a foothold or, and you get your schedule and you get your routine going, then if you're like, hey, well, I always read these kind of books and I like them, so I want to try to write that. But when you're first starting, write what you like, write what makes you happy, because if you don't, you're not going to be motivated to write. Who's going to be motivated to write a story about a vampire when they're a devout Christian? That's probably not going to line up with what you believe. So write about what makes you happy. Write about what feeds your soul. And then, like I said, don't let the outside world taint what you're doing. Pay a lot of attention to covers. Pay a lot of attention to editing. Those will probably be my 4 things. And then if you feel like you don't have an idea, prompts are always a great place to start. I love a good prompt. If I ever felt like I couldn't think of something to write, I would definitely, look for a good prompt, a motivating prompt. I actually wrote a book off of a prompt once, and it became a book. I just couldn't get my act together, and I needed to write, and I took a prompt, wrote it.
So after 35 books, what new stories or genres are calling to you? I know you said you ain't got that in your ministry for paranormal, but I'm going to pray on that.
I wish it. I love me a shifter. I love me a shifter romance. For 2026, I have 4 of the 8 books already decided. I have a little bit of a fake relationship coming. I have
More sports romance?
I love sports romance, so definitely, I love sports romance. That is my jam. When I first came to BLP, I was like, I could, if you want me to just be a sports romance girly, I could do that. She's like, no, no, thanks. But I do love a good sports romance. So definitely a sports romance. I have a Marriage of Convenience coming, and I have some stuff I haven't done
You gonna give
before.
us a mafia?
Girl, I might have to. I might have to look at that. I was telling myself, like, I was telling my daughter, like, this book I'm writing on now, like, it's kind of urban adjacent. I ain't wrote an urban book in a minute, but these characters are a little ratchet, so it's
Just said I ain't read a mafia book from you. I would love for you to write a mafia book.
I would love to write a mafia book because you know who writes my favorite mafia books is Asia Monique. She
Mm-hmm.
has a mafia series. She be like vows, like sinful vows, eternal vows, like like I love that series. I would love to do something like that. I have to sit with myself on that one because I got to come up with a family. Be a
Yes,
family.
I've read a mafia book before. Shelly Pete, shut up. Yes, I was just saying. I like Agent Monique's book. I think I read. I haven't read the whole series. I've read like 4 or 5 in that series. Yeah, because her and B Love had the what's her mafia? Gosh, it was like 12 books. The black. Oh, what the fuck?
Black Mafia, yes.
Yeah.
It's called, yeah. I know I can't think of the name of it, but I also like when they had the 12 heavy hitters that did the Mafia books. It was a series. It was like B Love, Jessica, Casey Mills, like Effie Bond. I loved B Love's book.
Misha Mish. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like yeah, I love B Love's book in that series. I was like, okay, B Love, come through.
So I'm gonna wind it down. So where can readers get your books?
They can get my books, of course, from Amazon. You can get my books on the BLP publications website. I want to say it's belovepublications.net, I believe is it. And from me in person, you can definitely get my paperbacks from me in person. I don't have any more events this year. I did my last event, and you guys are my last event.
October 18th.
And so I'll be back at it next year. I'm starting off in April with the Black Girls Read Summit. April in Dallas. So
Are you doing any book boxes?
I have never done a book box. When I first came into the scene, people were like, "Oh no, don't do no book boxes. Somebody stole our money." I don't know, but I think they're coming back around. So maybe I think I would love to do a book box because I'm a gift giver. Gift giving is my love language. So I would love to do a book box.
And I'm gonna pause this interview for 1 second, Ari. I promise you, when I get off this interview, me and you are gonna have words. Cause why you got that last name on your damn shit? Anyway, back to what I was saying. But no, Shannon makes book boxes. That's what I was saying. She did Cole's book box. That book box. Have you seen Cole's book box? Shannon made that. And A. Lewis book boxes. Shannon made it. Shannon makes those. And the bookmarks and all that other stuff.
And Shannon be telling you that on a need to know basis. When I talk to her, she's like, "Oh, I do that." Shannon, you gotta tell me. I don't think we're Facebook friends, so I gotta get connected to her because she tells me that at the events, and I'm like, "Oh, I made that." Why is it a deep dark secret? Why is it a deep dark secret, Storm? When you tell her it should be a secret?
She right there. We've been telling her to stop doing it. We have been telling her to stop doing it, but Shannon does. She got her own freaking bookstore online. The Literary DFW. She have indie and traditional authors on the bookstore, and she makes subscription book boxes.
I was all on Vista Prayer trying to create me a book box, Shannon. You wrong for that. Do you know how many hours I spent trying to create a book box on Vista Prayer?
Well, now you can get in Shannon's DMs.
Yes.
Ain't no nah. Wait a minute. This Tracy interview. I'm spilling the tea. Hell,
Hey, it's authors helping authors.
Hell out of here. So, are there any upcoming book events? You told me about one. So, any more events that you are attending next year?
I will be at Petals and Pros. It is the event that A Blossom and Brianna Michelle are doing in St. Louis. And I will, of course, be at Cube. I'm at Cube. This will be like my fourth or fifth year at Cube because I'm a local girly. I love Cube. I love for Chicago to come out and support. And I feel like that's probably it. I feel like that's it for now. I don't know if it's. I don't know. I said I wasn't putting too much dip on my chip this year because last year I had like 8 book events. I said I wasn't putting too much dip on my dip. So too much dip on my.
Damn.
I did so many book events last year. So yeah, it's my 30th wedding anniversary next year. So I got to do something big for that. I know my husband married me when I was in kindergarten. So.
Now you sound like King Go Reveal, talking about she been with her husband for 31 years, but she only 35. Girl, y'all don't stop.
I'm only 38, so I'm with her.
Oh my God. What the hell?
I'm thankful because good black does not be cracking.
Y'all wild. So, what's your social media? Do you have a reading group, a Patreon, or anything like that?
Okay, so I do have a reading group. We are on Facebook. It's called Shades of Gray. I am on TikTok and Instagram, and it is author Tracy Gray on both of those. As I be telling people, I'm on X, but I'm not really on X. But you can find me there at always Tracy Gray.
Okay. And I'm finna do your outro, and then I'll tell y'all who I have tomorrow. Tracy, it has been a joy and an honor to sit with someone whose pen has shaped stories, saved hearts, and poured into the community for years. Your universe is full of passion, healing, mess, love, sex be sexing, tension, and truth. The things that make Black romance feel like home. Thank you for giving us characters worth rooting for, stories worth binging, and representation that matters. Everybody who's here, go ahead and get them books. Get the books, because the covers are pretty, but the stories are even better. Read, review, and share, and write a review. It does matter. I don't care how many people say, oh, I just do video blogs. I do too. But the characters do. I mean, writing a review really does matter. And also, support her. Support her. Because the catalog is deep, the work ethic is unmatched, and the storytelling is rooted in legacy. And as I always say, stay loved, stay loud, and stay Black on motherfucking purpose. And tomorrow I will be having Drea Anderson. She is a paranormal and fantasy author. We're going to get into the Crown series and her Shifter series. It's going to be interesting because y'all know that's my jazz. So, thank you once again, and you have a good evening.
You too, thank you. And I love Dre, so I'll be back tomorrow to see you. You know, I just told you how much I love him. He's one of my favorites. Sorry, Tessa. Girl.
Have you read E. Bowser's?
No, I gotta start picking her up, huh? She won for me.
She got a vampire series called Brothers That Bite.
Oh, okay. I like that.
That shit is so good.
Well, I will download her tonight.